spinning, I know it's last.
We learned a lesson on that one, right?
We made it.
We made it.
Sorry about being late, everybody. Rocking the 520 gridiron. I'm Orlando, Coach O, Coach Angel.
What's happening, guys? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Get your Father's Day ready to go for this weekend. Start on Friday.
Yeah.
You know.
What you got going on Father's Day?
Father's Day? A lot of eating.
A lot of eating?
You know, salad, keto, poquito here, poquito there. You know, but you know, just family time. Family time. It's gonna be a nice weekend. You know, it'll be a nice weekend. So
I know I'm gonna be cooked for. I want some barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs. So I'm coming to Orlando's house on Father's Day.
Beef ribs.
We are guests today. We got Coach Argraves. Coach Justin Argraves from Tucson High School.
How we doing?
Coming down here today to be on our show. And we got Izzy with Underestimated.
You know it is.
Underestimated City. There. Can you guys see him? Let us know. What's up, Coach Chanes? Get those boys ready for tomorrow in Phoenix. All right, we want dubs.
Dubs.
You got a little Chris right there.
Emillio, hit that light right there.
What's up, little Chris?
The middle,
All right, so
pop down.
introduce you to Coach Argraves right here. You know, you give the people out there a little background on yourself, Coach.
Oh, all right. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on, man. This is awesome what you guys are doing. I think it's great building up, Southern Arizona football the best we can. But background on myself: born and raised in Tucson, graduated from Santa Rita High School, played football there, got into coaching right out of high school. Coached Santa Rita for 6 years. Graduated from the University of Arizona. Got a degree in physical education. Decided I wanted to, follow my dad's footsteps. He was a high school basketball coach, so kind of took his route and got into coaching. Like I said, was at Santa Rita for a while. Moved up to Phoenix. Made the move up to Phoenix. Was at Millennium High School for some years up there. Ended up getting a head job opportunity. Moved down here. Was at Mountain View for a year, and then Tucson High presented itself with their job in 2011. I was going to go. This will be my 10th year now at Tucson High. So we're going on 10 years. So
10 years, man.
That's a long tenure in high school.
Yeah. So time's kind of it's flying by. It's definitely been fun.
Let's not talk about time.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
I don't see any grades, Coach.
Oh yeah, I had to trim it off the day before I got in there.
They're clever, man.
Yeah. So it's definitely been fun. Came down, started off not married, now I'm married with 2 kids, and now just living it up at Tucson High.
Heck yeah, Coach. Hey, what you guys started at 5A division when you started here?
So when I got the job, they did it differently. It was like a 5A1, 5A2 split.
Yeah.
So we were 5A2, I believe, at the time.
Yeah.
And then it jumped, and then went to the 6A, and then we got bumped up to 6A, and so obviously with our enrollment, we're not moving down at all. So the competition that we've seen over the last 10 years, man, it's probably the toughest competition that any high school down here in Southern Arizona has seen over the last 10 years.
Talk about that, man. You've been heading up to Phoenix and playing those guys up there?
Yeah, so we've been in last 2 years. We've been in the Phoenix region, so we've been going up there, and then even outside non-region games, we've been playing Phoenix teams. So we've had Chandler, we played Hamilton in the playoffs, Westview, Centennial. We've seen all those guys. So going into next year, we only got 3 Tucson teams or Southern Arizona teams.
I seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that schedule. That's a pretty rough schedule.
Yeah, they put us in the East Valley region now, so it's a lot of traveling. 4 out of our 5 games are going to be up in Phoenix, so that's going to be it's definitely going to be interesting.
Hey, but isn't that what you want though, as a coach, as a player, and even as a parent? You want to play the best.
Yeah.
You want to play the best. Get out there, go look for it, and hey, in your guys' case, you got that enrollment, dropped in that 6A, and you see a bunch of I guess the famous word, the D1 recruits. All day long. We play those guys all the time.
Yeah, we do. We see those guys all the time, and and the thing is, the enrollment. Yeah, the enrollment's what it's at. Yeah. But there, and I was talking beforehand. The enrollment is a small portion of what goes into having a successful program. There's a lot of things that got to go on behind the scenes. From support, admin support, district support, booster support.
Yeah.
All that stuff's got to play a role, and that's what you see these top tier programs in Phoenix. I mean, it's just they're machines up there.
Yeah.
And you look down here in Southern Arizona. I mean, it's like again, we're the only 6A team, but enrollment wise, I mean, when was the last time a local team, won a state championship? A local public school team.
Yeah.
Gosh, my memory, it's probably Ironwood Ridge. Maybe I think Ironwood Ridge beat Centennial in the state championship game.
Yeah.
So it's just
That's a while.
Now still like almost 10 years.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. That was a while ago.
I forgot about
2012,
Ironwood.
2013 maybe. But there's a lot of things that I think Southern Arizona that we need to do. As a whole to get to that level. But it takes a village, man. It's going to take a lot of people to get up to that level.
Yeah,
Community guys
on a consistent basis.
Yeah,
touched on
I've
that a
seen
little
the the behind the scenes part of how it gets with all the higher ups. You got to jump through hoops, and even sometimes that's not enough. And it's hard. It's hard to run a program. But 10 years at this program. I personally say you've done a hell of a job.
I appreciate it.
You've done a hell of a job out there.
Appreciate
I've seen it. I've been on the inside of it. I've seen the work that you guys put in, and it's very impressive. It is very impressive. Some guys go out there and they just do this, do that, and they don't explain the why. They don't go through a thorough thing like I've seen there. Granted, I haven't been to every high school thing, but from what I've seen, and me being a coach, I was humbled. Because I was like, man, I thought I put in work, and when I sat in there for about a week, coach, it was like, wow. I was like, man, this stuff's overwhelming. I mean, a lot of people think they can be a high school coach, and they want to criticize high school coaches and this and that. Well, you better make sure you got your stuff straight, because it's a whole different world. And he's turning out NFL players. We got Wallace was the last one.
Yeah, Levi. Yeah, Levi's Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
Demetrius was with us for a little bit, and he's with San Francisco right now. So and we got guys. Our goal is ultimately we all want to win football games, but at the same time we want to see guys be successful. After they graduate. It was funny. I got a text. A video text a couple weeks ago from a group my first group at Tucson High, and they were just all kind of going through it and just saying hi, and that's the fun stuff. That's cool. Seeing guys be successful, getting married, having kids, doing good things in our community. That's the thing we definitely want to see.
Yeah, definitely. I know one of your guys from the sugar schools,
Tony.
Tony Rosales.
Yep.
He goes down to work on my beefcakes. That's our lineman. He goes down and he puts them to work. I don't hear a peep out of the boys. All I see is just work over there, and he does a good job of it. I mean, a lot of people think, I played high school varsity 4 years. I played college. I played D1 college. I played in the NFL. Not all those guys are great coaches. And Rosales came and he did a damn good job. That's a testament to what you guys showed him.
I'll tell you what, and Antonio, when I got the job, man, when I first met him, I mean, he was, he's intense football player. We had to pull him back a little bit, pull the reins on him. Yeah. But that was what ultimately got him his scholarship at San Diego State. Coach O.C. Lewis, a good friend of mine, just recently passed away, was coaching at San Diego State at the time. He told me, he said, Coach, he goes, the reason I'm offering Tony right now is because he's a hard-nosed kid on the field, and that's putting it politely what he said.
Yeah.
And Tony went in there and no excuses, busted his tail, did what he had to do. Started at team captain at San Diego State. I mean, it was just a machine out there.
Yeah.
So any of you young guys, linemen, if you want to get work, I'll put it out there. And Tony Rosales is one of the best I've seen, and he's technically sound, and he knows how to come across and teach guys. So very proud of him where he's at today.
Yeah, he definitely has the respect of my boys. Like, I could say, hey, Tony told you to do it like this, do it like this. Well, no, you want me to call him right now? And I'm like, we got it, coach, we got it. And because he coaches intense too. He's and we took some of the boys to go see him at his Sugar Skulls game, the home opener. And my son, he started playing a little bit different.
Yeah.
Old
Nasty.
Pop,
Nasty.
old Pop's playing that left tackle. He started getting, he wanted to paint his face like that, like Rosales, stuff like that. But the referees were hating on him. They told me how to clean it off.
Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Looks like you're picking up one of our 12U boys.
Yeah, you got the Hulk. The Hulk, he'll be there next season.
There we go.
Here, right? You need commits right here, really quick.
Bring him in.
Yeah, the Hulk. I've had that kid since flag. His motor doesn't stop.
There you
His
go.
motor doesn't stop. His head is always. He's always in the game.
Don't make me play his highlight video.
Yeah, we got the highlight video for you for that one. You want to see
that?
that?
Leader, man.
But your coaches, you don't really have that much turnover in coaches there. I think
No.
you're pretty.
My staff, especially varsity, we've been together for, gosh, I mean, like I said, this will be 10 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
We've pretty much all been together. Coach Ovian Moore has been my right-hand man. He's been my offensive coordinator. He was with me at Mountain View. He made the move over. Both his sons played for me. Donovan Ravian, one of his sons went to New Mexico State, played football there. Donovan went to University of Arizona, played there. And then he's got 2 more coming up the pipe, so they're going to be playing the next few years. Coach Richard Fimbra is my offensive line coach, just does a tremendous job. Coach Marcos Vasquez does D-line. Got the best DB coach in the city in my mind, and Coach Ward Perkins. So, he comes out there every day, and, so it's nice to work with guys that you trust. And that's just my varsity guys. I go down the line on my lower level guys who've been with me for a while too, but you got a core group of guys that you can trust and you can depend on, and they have the kids' best interests at heart, and that's what I want on my staff. And it's been fun to come in and not know any of these guys when I got the job, and to gradually build these strong friendships, these lifetime friendships. And so I'm very proud of my staff, and I wouldn't trade them for the world.
Yeah, they put it, like I said before, they put in a lot of work. They're from 3 to 12:30 middle of the night if you're lucky, if everything goes smooth. Coach Argraves not happy with what he sees. You're gonna be there for a little bit longer. You might want to Uber some food or some coffee over.
We've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, so and then none of your coaches coach youth football. They're strictly high school, right?
Yeah, right now, I have all high school. I've had some guys that were youth, and then they've moved up. But we got all high school guys. It's hard, the time commitment, the overlap, because you look at youth football now in comparison to where it was even 10 years ago to where it is now, and the time that you guys are putting in at the youth level is just insane. So you have, it's hard to get that overlap of putting in the right time to where you're not hurting either one set of kids, the high school kids or the youth level kids. Not to say somebody can't make it work, because there's people who make it work. With us, our guys, we're at that school, we're leaving 9 to 10 o'clock at night every night during the weeknight, and then, we're back there all weekend long. So it's definitely, you got to have, that partnership to where you trust each other to get everything done. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get to Izzy real fast. Izzy's right there. He's anxious to get his brand.
Hey, I met him before the show.
It's a hell of a brand.
I met him before the show.
We were talking before the show even started.
Good stuff. Sorry.
Pre-gaming.
Yeah, pre-game.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Izzy. How'd you get started with Underestimated and Rep Tuck, right?
Yeah. So pretty much. I've been doing Rep TUC, the Underestimated City, my lifestyle streetwear brand, for almost 10 years now. And so the way I got into that is, I started cutting stencils, spray painting around Tucson, spray painting them on shirts for friends, spray painting, skateboards for, friends and stuff like that. And then that slowly turned into a clothing business. Well, I did business for about 5 years, and then my son got introduced into playing football. And so once my son started playing, at that flag age of 5-6 years old, we would go to Dick's and stuff like that and try finding him, youth apparel, gloves and stuff like that. And a lot of these bigger companies didn't really focus on, I guess in my eyes, like the true youth. A lot of their stuff, when that says youth, is more aimed towards more of the kids that are like 10 years old and higher. So, I had ordered my son some cool sleeves from a company that I thought were going to fit him. And so, once he put those sleeves on, they would just fall down his arm. And so in my eyes, I started seeing that there was a market that a lot of these brands like Nike, Adidas, Battle, they were all missing, because a lot of the youth stuff didn't really fit 5, 6, 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds even. So that's where I really kind of started using my, like ideas and me having my own screen printing company and my own designing into making cool uniforms for like my practice squad, like, or my gloves and sleeves. And slowly, as my son started playing, more years of football, my sports apparel just started evolving with it. And so, like I said, I had been, now to this day, I've been doing Rep TUC for 10 years. And Underestimated just became this kind of like unintentional arm that branched out from the streetwear brand that went into athletics, because, like I said, I saw that a lot of these companies were missing, a huge target in these younger kids. And so that's where it slowly, it just became something to where I was originally just putting TUC on everything. But then when I started seeing that it could be like a viable business and it could be something really good, that not only was the Tucson community was missing, but just the whole community of athletics was missing, was these younger kids. And that's where I was like, that's where I really started kind of coming up with the ideas of, you got these bigger companies already out in the world that they don't have to sell that image of being underestimated, because they're already big. You got the Nikes, you got the Adidas, you got even Battle, to this point, that they thrive off of popularity. They thrive off of being the cool guys already. Well, like even coach could attest to this in high school. How many of your kids go D1? How many of your kids go even to community college? So that's where I kind of branched off of TUC, and us as a city being underestimated to like Phoenix and all these other cities. That's where I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to take that chip on my shoulder that I always had, even as a football player, and see how could I create a brand that isn't just uplifting, but even when you're at your highest peak and you're that number one guy, you still got to have that underdog, underestimated mentality that the guy underneath you thinks he's that much better than you. You got to keep pushing yourself even more. So even though you're the top dog, you still got to have that underestimated, humble feeling and keep pushing yourself. And so that's where I really started kind of dedicating a lot of my time and my effort into sports apparel, because, also, like, I'm a coach, a youth coach with the Tucson Raiders. This year will be my 5th year, and I teach my kids the same thing. We got a bunch of Southside kids that, society's going to tell them that, they're more than likely not going to become anything. And so I teach and I instill into my kids that you got to be able to take a negative term of being underestimated and embrace that and really hold on to that and turn it into a positive thing in your head. When someone looks at you and says you can't, love that feeling. Learn to love that feeling, because if you become a victim of that, of what that person's saying, then you're only going to hurt yourself. But if you can embrace that hurt and turn it into something positive, you know what? What's going to happen is you're going to embrace that, you're going to become better, and guess what? Those people that said you would never be anything become your biggest fans. And that's exactly what's happened with my TUC brand. When I first started doing the Underestimated City, people would tell me, you can't sell Tucson. Tucson, there's nothing here for people to love. Hey, I'm the longest running brand in Tucson ever, 10 years and still going. And people told me the same thing about Underestimated, that it couldn't be successful. Hey, I'm working with teams in Ohio, Oregon, Atlanta, Georgia, Tucson, all over Tucson now. So it's one of those things that I literally live by every day. And like the underestimated thing isn't just a catchphrase. It's something that like I grew up with and I still to this day feel.
I love the name. That's a good name.
Yeah.
And the apparel looks good too.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's the designer.
I like it.
That's the designer in me.
Hey,
So
put it on that big red machine right there.
Hey, we already talked a little bit before this, so. But yeah, that's the mindset, the mentality, and the drive right there. So, hey, and like I said, it's the designer in me. It's like the designer in me won't allow me to do something just cheap for the dollar,
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd be true to the brand name if I was just trying to make cheap product.
You know, and I think a lot of people like sometimes underestimate Tucson for
It
playing that 6A division. That 6A that you know you're gonna go this year. I mean, I think you guys are gonna have a good season. I think you are. I mean, you got some guys. Some guys are grinding out there.
Yeah,
they know they can't be practicing. They're grinding, and they want to prove everybody wrong. You know, like, you know, stay in your 3A. We're gonna go play 6A. We're gonna go play the big boys. You know what I mean? And you see them. I see them out there working. Hell, sometimes they're by the park, and I'm driving by right there by Quincy. You see guys just running, just jogging. You know, and you see you know 2-3 kids in Tucson High shorts. You know, hey, they're putting it in, and for a kid to go out there and just throw a ladder and start doing his ladder drills, they want it and they're hungry.
Gotta be self-motivated.
You know? How was your class coming in? How's your varsity team coming in?
Yeah,
this
so
year?
you know, last year we were a little young. Had a small senior class last year, so you know, we returned our quarterback, a bunch of skill guys.
Yeah.
So you know, our line be a little bit young. Return our starting center. So you know, we're excited, but it's just you know, this is a different crazy year that you know nobody's ever experienced. So it's kind of going in with, you know, not having off, you know, spring ball, summer off season, all the competitions, 7-on-7, getting prepared, going to camp, all the stuff that we're used to. You know, we're not having it right now. And you know, you look at Phoenix right now; they're going. You know, a lot of these Phoenix high school teams got approved at the beginning of June. You know, some are still shut down, but you know, there's a bunch that are going right now. So you know, we're already going to be behind the ball in a little bit on that aspect. But you know, our spring ball, everything was, you know, through Zoom meetings, and every night we're on there, you know, going over X's and O's and all that stuff. So, you know, we're having to think outside the box, not just us at Tucson High, but I mean every coach is having to think outside the box of what to do and to stay up with it. But you know, it'll be interesting to see what decisions are made here in the next few weeks of you know, what the season's going to look like if we do even have a season. You know, hate to say it, but
I know.
you know.
And that's one of the reasons that we started this show late is my fault. I just came from a meeting with presidents from TYF. It was about 13 representatives out there from different organizations. And I personally want to thank, you know, Raiders, Falcons, Rams, Wildcats, Dolphins, Thunder, Cowboys, Jags, and the Broncos. You know, those were some of the guys there. You know, thank you guys for making time to go out there. We had great dialogue on everything going on. We're trying to come to an agreement on how we can have youth football here in Tucson, because I would hate to see it go to Phoenix. You know, we need to stay here. We just need to be patient is what it came down to. Just be patient. You know, a lot of people are trying to push Julius Holt to make a decision now, but that's unfair to him. That's unfair to his executive board and all the presidents out there. They're trying to do the right thing, the right way, and we just got to be patient. There will be football in Tucson. I guarantee you that. I guarantee that. So we need to keep these kids, you know, in the right spot, keep them conditioning at home so we can get them ready to go up to Tucson with the big red machine and get them going and help them.
Yeah, let's support that school, man.
Yeah,
Tucson High, let's put them on the map.
You know, too, they got some of the greatest facilities out there. And we ran into a problem a couple years ago, right, with the flood.
Oh man,
Yeah,
we didn't have a field for a couple years, so
Badger Lake there. You know, but,
let's not talk about that. Don't
we're gonna fast forward this one. So after he returned from Keno Park,
that was rough.
You know, how are the academics there, Coach? As in, any like special programs that you guys have for these kids, and also the recruiting process? Like, how do the recruiters come in? How do they approach you, or do they just stand out there in the stands and not even say anything? And somebody says, "Hey, somebody was a San Diego State shirt out there." Like, how does that process work? I'm interested in the recruiting process.
Okay.
And I'll get to a question.
Yeah. So you want me to start with Tucson High programs first, or I mean magnet program? So you know, it's a good academically. It's a great school. I mean, you can find you can go there and find something that will interest you and that you can do for the rest of your life. I mean, that's just they're top notch on that. Recruiting aspect is, you got a lot of the coaches, so one, all the colleges, they'll divvy out areas where they'll go to. So here down in Arizona, you'll start to get to know, guys, because even if they are at one school for a couple years and then they move to a different school, they tend to stay in their same recruiting areas. That's what I've kind of gathered now. That's not always the case, but so you start to build up relationships. I mean, there's guys that I've known for 15 years now who when I was in Phoenix, they would recruit Phoenix and they're coming down here. So they're constantly communicating with us, talking to us, sending out emails. I mean, you can ask any coach in the state, they get probably 5-10 emails a day asking for questionnaires, your 2021 class, who do you have, and all that stuff. So you send that out. Then a lot of phone talk, a lot of texting. Who do you have? Who do you might have? Here's where I'm coming into town. I'll be down for spring ball. Unfortunately, didn't have a spring ball. They stop. They make their rounds. So if they come into Phoenix, they usually drive down to Tucson. They make their rounds around Tucson, and a lot of it's word of mouth. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had coaches that are like, all right, well, I appreciate you telling me about your guys, but what other guys in Tucson do you see, that could play at our level? So that's where I've seen a lot of, that's the nice thing about the high school coaches here in town. A lot of them, they'll push coaches to other schools if they have a guy. Because there's been plenty of times we've had college guys come to our school and, hey, Coach Peace at CDO said you got this guy, or Coach Nugent said you had this guy, and so kind of the fraternity that we have as a coaching high school coaches here in Tucson. So that's kind of how it looks. Rarely will you see some guys that top tier guys, they'll come out. They'll fly out for a Friday night game and check it out. We had Tom Herman was at our game when we played Southland last year recruiting Bijan. He came out and stayed the whole game. University of Texas head coach. Sumlin, he'll get out there to some of the games, but they're so busy preparing for their game that's coming up the next day. Usually assistants are the ones doing the show on that.
You have any kids you're looking at this year? Any spotlight kids that?
We have
for blowout season.
We have like I said, our Aiden Ortiz, our quarterback coming back, did a tremendous job for us last year. Looking for big things coming into this year. Daniel Becerra is a receiver DB that we had last year. Unfortunately, had an ankle injury earlier in the year. We were playing up in Phoenix at North and didn't quite recover fully from that. So we're looking big things for him. Elise Johnson, another receiver coming back. Like I said, skill guys. We're pretty heavy at that area. Like I said, on our line, Mike Tibbetts, our starting center. He's coming back, so we're looking big things for him this year.
Where did he play at, Coach? Yes, sir. Tucson Raiders, Tibbetts.
And he does a tremendous job.
He's a great kid.
He works his butt off. Yes sir, no sir type kid. So
his academics are off the chart. They're off the chart. Like this kid has been straight A's. Like with the Raiders, youth football, we got to get report cards, and this kid always up there with the scholarships and stuff like that. And he's a big nasty right there. And we got to ask about the big nasties up front, or else Vasquez and Pimes are gonna, they're gonna rush me. So I know they do a good job. Those guys work well together. That's like a duo that's been together for a long time.
Yeah, so Coach Fimbers and Coach Vasquez, and the great thing, they're both alum, so they're Badgers. And a little bit of age difference, but they coached together prior at Tucson High. They were actually at Desert View with Monaco, and then I brought them on. Coach Kramer. Will Kramer, who he was the AD or assistant principal at the time at Tucson High, when I got hired, brought me on, and he was the one who kind of put me on to him. And actually, me and Coach Fimbers, we went to UVA together. We graduated together, so we knew each other from taking some classes. But they're good friends. They work very well together. Just tremendous coaches. And I'm very lucky and blessed to have them.
Thank you. Who would win between Coach Vasquez and Coach Pimes?
Is that him right there?
In a hot wing eating contest, Coach.
In a hot wing eating
contest? So if we're to put the contest right here, but we need a bigger table.
I tried this last time. Nobody wanted to eat the hot ones.
Vasquez was. He was say
I'm down.
palm
I'm down for the
wings.
challenge too.
Does it matter on the wings though? Because
No, they gotta be
buffalo
hot.
bell.
They gotta be
No,
hot
they gotta be
wings. They
hot.
gotta be hot.
The hottest ones that I got were from Buffalo Wild Wings, that blazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I ate that the last time, but we didn't do it on camera. We finished the show and then we ate afterwards, but they didn't want to touch
It's
it.
because you messed up, Coach.
I know.
We need to get them from Bianchi's.
Oh.
We need to get them from Bianchi's and
Yeah.
Silver Bell and
There you
Speedway.
go.
No, buffalo
Right?
bell.
what you did.
Yeah,
See
you
what
can
you
slap
did
yourself.
Hey, buffalo bell. Hey, buffalo bell.
Bianchi's. I'm sorry, dude, but Beavis Vasquez, Coach, who'd you put your money on?
Who's gonna eat more?
Who's gonna eat
Well,
more?
I think they both know the answer to this. It's gonna be Fimbres.
I know
Fimbres.
too.
It's gonna be Fimbres.
I
Yeah.
don't know, Vasquez. You better start working out.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the
Start
thing.
working out.
Vasquez, he's working on his figure, so he.
Hotter
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah.
He said. Hotter
You
the better.
So you better start practicing, Vasquez. Start off, with the 10-piece, and then work your way up right there. Because by the sound of it, Beavis, well, he's in a whole class by himself. We're gonna have to do that soon. Should we get a bigger table?
Yeah.
Just plastic everything up.
And
Make it a
bibs.
mess.
You bring a whole staff on, it's gonna be nuts.
It'll
so.
probably be the outline of their bodies right here, with all the sauce going back. So yeah, man. Which is your big game this year that you think that you're looking forward to?
Man,
I mean, we just want to get to one game, but
yeah. So I mean, you look at our schedule. They redid the region. We're in that East Valley region, so we definitely are gonna have some competition
Yeah.
up there. We play Mesa High, we played them, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I can't remember now. We played them in a home and home. So that's again one of the oldest schools in Phoenix. So that's kind of a cool thing that you go in there. And another alum, Coach Lewis, who coaches over there. So that'll be an interesting game. Down here in Tucson, we play Marana, Rincon, and South Point. Those are the only 3 Southern Arizona schools that we have. We haven't played Marana in, probably again 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
Rincon, 3-4 years ago. South Point we played every year. So, but other than that, those teams up there, I haven't seen them, ever at except for Mesa, ever at Tucson High. So that they're all going to be interesting. So it's fun that way. I mean, you new faces, but it's on the downside though. You look at it, you got kids, that grow up, they play against each other, and they don't get to keep that competitive spirit when they get into high school because we're playing, like I said, 7 Phoenix teams.
yeah.
So
Asking about that.
the neighborhood rivalries that you're seeing, they're kind of, from our standpoint, are dying down.
Yeah.
So if you kind of could speak to some of the kids that could be watching right here,
Mhm.
who may be thinking about wanting to play for Tucson High.
Yeah.
What are your expectations of the players that want to? Tell them what you're looking for. Tell them how you coach your style and what your expectations are of a player that you'd want to see on your football
Yeah,
field.
so
what I mean?
our expectations are definitely, we always keep them high, and that's every coach, is going to have high expectations. The big thing is buy-in. When you get them into your program, they got to buy in. They gotta believe in what you're doing. They got to trust the process, and they can't get frustrated if you hit a roadblock. You talked about earlier about underestimated and having that kind of chip on your shoulder, and you might get knocked down, but you can't quit, because I'm sure if that would happen to you, your business wouldn't be going right now like it is. And so that's what we want to see at Tucson. We want to see tough, hard-nosed kids that, regardless of the situation, they're gonna work, and they're gonna trust the coaches, they're gonna trust the teammates and what needs to be achieved, and they're not gonna try to run away at the first sign of pressure, because what's that? And that's life. You're gonna graduate, and you're gonna become a father and an employer. You're gonna have life at your front door, and how do you respond when stuff hits the fan? Are you gonna put your head down, or are you gonna keep pressing forward? So, and I know that's my entire coaching staff. That's what we try to preach as a staff is, we want good guys that we can trust are gonna make right decisions. Now, teenage kids, are they always gonna make right decisions? Not always.
How are you guys on the extra mile? Do you guys do film? Do you make these boys come in and
Yeah,
go
so
extra mile, hit
we're
the weight room?
Yeah, so
You know what I mean?
it's. I mean, we had a 0-hour class, and it got moved. So for my first 9 years, they would come in at 6 in the morning or 6:30. We'd start at 6:30, and they'd lift. And then when school got done, because our school gets done a little bit later, we're on a weird block schedule, so we only see half our kids every other day. School gets done at 3:30. We're in the film room at 4. We're in meetings from 4 to 4:45, and then we're on the field from 5 to, depending on what day, 7:30, 6, depending on if it's a walkthrough or not. And then back at it Saturday morning. We get them in. We have a lift. Now we lift them. They'll come in, they'll lift, they'll see our trainer, and then we bring them in for film afterwards. And usually they're done by noon on Saturday. We try to get them out by noon, and then coaches we get going Saturday, and then if we need to on Sunday. And then we go through, and then the off season, same thing. If they can't make if they couldn't make the 0 hour, they would come in after school. We open up the weight room every day after school. At 3:30, we go to 5. As the last few years, as I started transitioning to year round, that's been a little bit different. We've had to start really looking at how we can go about doing that, because I'm never going to sit and tell a kid you have to do football 100%, because I know there's basketball season, I know there's baseball season, or there's volleyball season, or whatnot. And as a school, and I there's not many here in Southern Arizona that can just have one group that just plays one sport. So I want my kids to be competitive, and they don't want to see me for 365 days out of the year. And I get it. I mean, yeah. I mean, we want them to go out and compete in another sport. If you can compete in another sport, make sure you're lifting. We give you optimal times to come in and lift in the weight room. Make sure you get your lift done. But go be a kid. Go play basketball. Do whatever. Stay competitive. That kind of sharpens iron and breeds that competitive spirit, because now, if you go just a whole year football, 7-on-7 has, there's pros and cons of 7-on-7.
You get some of those kids that are like, I want to go all the way.
Yeah,
I want to go. Well, obviously you turned out kids like that, but for the most part,
those kids
you get some of the kids that are just
can you open the weight room early, coach? Or,
you got those kids. You got to look at a burnout aspect too. We're the only sport. Football is the only sport, and I'm talking at a high school level. We play 10 games a year. 10 padded up tackle football games a year. And other than that, you can do 7-on-7, you can do, all that stuff. But, baseball, you're playing games year round. Basketball, you're playing games year round. Any other sport, you're doing stuff year round. But for football, our actual sport, for what matters in the fall, you're getting, 10 games. 10 games at the varsity level. And so, how do you, and that's the journey that I think every high school coach in the nation, how do you maneuver through December to August to make sure that those kids are in prime position to go for a 3-month stretch and hopefully longer into the fall. And that's the tough aspect of it, and getting kids to buy in and understand that this is a long process. It's a long process that.
Talk to your players, man. They better be watching right now. You better be doing your push-ups, man.
They better go hit those.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be calling you right now after this show, right here. You finding out what you're doing.
Vasquez is doing push-ups already and sit-ups, getting ready.
Yeah.
But Coach. We'd like to thank you for coming in.
No, man, I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for coming in.
This is awesome, yeah.
We hope, our boys, we hope we do our job as youth coaches.
Oh, yeah.
To, make sure they're prepared. Before you go, is there anything like you can advise like youth coaches, like what to do to make sure the kids are ready for that?
Like I said, you're seeing so much growth at the youth level. You're seeing top tier athletes. You're seeing, way better coaching, top tier coaching. You're seeing it across the board, and I think a lot of high school coaches are seeing it. The big thing is just make sure that you continue to do what you do. Better yourselves, educate yourselves as coaches, and that's the same thing that I tell my staff. That's the same thing I look in the mirror and I tell myself. It's a process that we all have to take, for the betterment of not just my team or your team, but for everybody down here in Southern Arizona to get it on. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of work.
I know we go up to you went with us up there too to go to the Glacier clinics.
Yeah,
we see you guys up there.
Yeah, we see running you guys at the Glaciers, and
that if you want to coach or you're coaching out there, don't ever think you know everything. You go.
I took that test 3 times.
Yeah. And he almost passed. Just kidding. Yeah, I know. Go to these Glacier clinics. You want to have some fun? Get with your coaching staff and go to Vegas and do that one, because that one is a big one right there.
Yeah, and what you're looking at now, you're looking with this whole COVID pandemic that came in. Zoom took over.
Yeah.
So now you're going to see. I mean, I can't count the number of Zoom clinics, you know, that I sat in during this off season. Defensive coordinator Coach Camarillo at Saguaro up in Phoenix hosted these 2 or 3 times a week, and just the knowledge that you can get. I mean, from your house, you know, in the morning drinking a cup of coffee and not having to, you know,
I
even
believe
take a
it.
shower.
My kids watch YouTube
You know.
videos all day long.
So
I get it.
there's so much knowledge that we tell our kids. We're like,
Yeah.
if you don't believe us what we're teaching, go on and look.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can see what other people are doing. Watch a college football game.
Yeah.
You know, don't just watch it for the highlights or turn it on just to see your favorite
For
player.
entertainment.
Watch it and watch schematically what they're doing offense, defense, special teams, and how does that translate to what you're doing. Not even at the high school level, but at the youth level as well.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing so much growth in what's going on and what's being taught and what these kids are able to do these days.
Yeah.
I mean, they're way more athletic nowadays than what they were, you know, 10, 15 years ago. And you look at, you know, you had Bobby on the other day. I mean, he's doing a tremendous job. I know him real well. And you have these guys that they're doing a tremendous job to get these kids in a prime position to play on Friday night.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they also have to understand that, you know, the workout program and the strength program within your own school is priority number one as well. I mean, that's, you know, you build up that team chemistry, you build up what the coaches are trying to do to get your body prepared, and, you know, there's a whole lot of buy-in that has to happen.
And do you think coaches, high school coaches, should get with youth coaches maybe in the area, their area where they see like you're going to, these kids are going to go to you in a couple seasons or a season.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good for the youth coaches and the high school coaches like to at least learn terminology? That way, when a kid goes to say my kid goes to Tucson High, I want to be able to tell him, you know, he's playing quarterback. I want to be able to tell him, we run the wishbone, but we have to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
And because wishbone not run no more in high school, not since the Ampi, I think. But you know, you want to tell him, you know, like a push, a pull, you know, with your backs and stuff like that. But you know, I think it'd be a good idea.
Well, and that's, you know, you build that up, the relationship with the coaches, and you get on the level. You know, high school coaches doing clinics. I know we used to do some clinics with the Raiders back in the day. You know, that stuff's great. Now you have some coaches, you know, that'll be real nervous. They don't want to give out terminology and this and that. You know, but at the same time, when you break down film, you know, you're gonna know what somebody's doing. You know, we're trying to better our game.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. We need to better our game, and however we do that, you know, there's a million ways to do it, but we have to work together. I know, you know, Coach Corby Smith, who's McClintock's head coach, real good friends with him as well. You know, he would put on the Larry Smith. He's Larry Smith's son.
Yes.
They put on the Larry Smith clinic down here, and I thought that was tremendous. I spoke in it a couple times, and you know, I was disappointed that kind of went away because that was fun. You know, you get in, you get to interact with the coaches, you get to talk ball. You know, stuff like that. I think that's what we need to do, but we can't be afraid of, you know, you hate to put it out there, but, you know, poaching kids and who's going to go where, and hey, are you going to get this group to go to your school? Well, if you are, I'm not going to help you this or that. I think that's what you're seeing nowadays, and that's kind of what I think that's what's killing things around football around here.
You see it at the youth level too.
It's not just here. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's Phoenix is notorious for it.
For like,
you know, like the youth. It starts at the youth level. It starts at the youth level, and I know maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you know, I was kind of the main guy for putting the boundaries. You know, eliminating the boundaries to play. You can go play anywhere. Because the high schools were already going into that. So we'll put it there because you had certain teams doing the recruiting, and everybody else had to follow suit with following the rules. And it was like, well, when you're leaving to practice and you see a kid in one uniform from another team walk out, and another one in another uniform walking out, and you're like, why aren't you guys playing here? Like, You know what I mean? So we just basically opened up, and it was kind of good. You know, unlimited weights.
Yeah.
Unlimited weights was great.
Yeah.
That was great. We were putting
hurt
90
Man, I was always on that fine line. Like,
that hurt Tucson
I
for
didn't
a
weigh
really
enough,
long
or I
time.
was
Yeah,
too old.
you probably played Mighty Mike for 6 years. Doing a little bit
I was
of-
either too light or too old.
That was the
Yeah.
first step Tucson took to being better in football.
Yeah, it's unlimited weights, and you know, I had a big part
I'm not
in
gonna
that
leave
stuff.
my age on here.
But you know, I guess basically is us coaches, us youth coaches, we as much as we expect from our kids to work harder, to be working off season, this and that, we got to get better as youth coaches. That way, it transfers over to the high school level, and they can know the difference of terminology, what you're talking about, like that. So, youth coaches, you know, get on the ball, take this time that we're off, go to these Zoom clinics. It doesn't hurt. It can only better you. You know, you always learn something.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, and hopefully, you know, my boys that'll be going, you know, we've got quite a bit that are going to be going to Tucson, and we have a bit that are going to be going to other schools. You know, you got the Hulk, you know, already committed. He's been committed since Flag.
Raiders are going to
Yeah.
Desert View, Sunnyside, Tucson High. I mean,
those are the three,
you know,
big three.
pick your place. Make all these schools dope, man.
Yeah,
you
heck
know?
yeah. Because we're tired of seeing kids just take off other places. We want to make sure these organizations here, these high schools here, are lighting it up, man, and bring back the old thing, you know, of neighborhood, you know, plays the neighborhood and go bang it up, you know.
And everybody go to each other's schools and support, fill up the stadiums, no matter what school you're from. Just go see a high school game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
high school games are better than NFL games.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
It's
that.
fun, man. Fun.
The nachos are good because they're cheaper. Yeah, playing these $14 for nachos over there. You know? Me and Vasquez and Fevers like to eat, but yeah, no, man. You know, so
Yeah.
it's we're good.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you. I mean, this is like I said, this is great.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing, you know, anything to better our sport is I'm all for it, man. I really appreciate you having me on, man. It's anything I can do with my staff, my program to help you guys. You got my number. Let me know.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you,
No
Coach.
problem at all.
Appreciate
No
it.
problem at all.
We'll
Thanks,
have you
Izzy.
on.
Okay.
We'll have you on again. We bring a couple of the players out.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And-
Throughout the
and
year,
coach, and
we
yeah,
get a
we're
football season
definitely-
going. Bring some
Perfect.
of those players over here.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
everything you've done for the youth in our area or
problem.
around the surrounding Tucson High area, like that, because the kids remember.
Yeah.
They know.
I appreciate
They
it.
know
Yeah.
who's helping.
We try.
Yeah,
We try.
definitely.
So,
But thank you, and thank you for making time and coming out. I
yeah,
know.
no problem. Anytime.
Cool.
And thank you for
That's fine.
Izzy
Thank you,
for
man.
being one of our main sponsors. Go check him out, Underestimated. And I also want to bring somebody else in. We have a new sponsor here with us. I'm just going to go ahead and bring him on. Come over here.
On his back there.
Come over here.
We'll get a little bit more with Izzy right now,
Yeah.
too. We'll get you in. We'll get you
There we
in.
go.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Villatoros.
Villatoros Landscape and Design.
Landscape and
How you guys
Design,
doing?
everybody. Go check out his Facebook page. Check him out. He's a real hard worker. He's you know what I mean? He gets it done.
I'm out to get it done.
Yeah, you just can't book next Saturday. I already got it.
Yeah.
I got him
Next
booked up
Saturday,
right
we'll
now.
go next weekend.
No. He's a really good guy, and that's why I wanted to bring him on. And I got approached for sponsors. I like that, so I got to take a look at that. This is a whole new thing for us, right? Doing this, so
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in my mind thinking about like, okay, sponsors, right? That's great. I don't need anything. Look, I did this all pretty much so that I can do this for the coaches and the youth sports. I don't need anything. But hopefully, if we get some sponsors, maybe we can trickle that down and give back to the kids. You know what I mean? That's all I'm really thinking about.
community.
If a restaurant wants to come and sponsor, I'm not gonna want anything. Can you do like a discount for athletes who want to go eat over there? You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know what I mean? It's all about the kids.
You know what we could do? We could do a youth football camp as soon as the parks are clear, and with whatever sponsorships we get a little shirts or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk to that guy Underestimated. Where's he at?
He's already right there.
You know, and you know, we'll work together with all our sponsors. If they're willing to do that, willing to help out like that,
Yeah.
I can commit our Tucson Raider coaches. And Jeremy Conley right there saying big ups to THS.
Yeah.
He's alumni at THS. And a little 4x4, Chris Blancarte, right there. And he's coaching out there. He's with the Raiders. And also Tuplaco, they're going up there. Edward Baca,
Oh, I
they're
thought
going
it was
to
talking about me.
Phoenix.
Yeah, what's up, Blanco? I thought he was talking about me. I was like, what you talking about?
We're going to commercial. Just kidding.
Commercial break.
No, but yeah, and you know, maybe we could do something like that, like a camp. Work together with everybody. No, you know, just hey, high school coaches, youth coaches working together, and throw a giant camp. Welcome back football, something like that.
Yeah. You're crazy, man.
Yeah. Because it's August 2nd thing, better finish. I'm just saying. People do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Let's get football back.
Any questions
going.
out there, real quick? We
Yeah.
probably got like 2 minutes to see if anybody has a question for Coach. Tucson High. We'll wait for that for a little bit.
Yeah,
But
any questions for Izzy?
anything you want to get out there, the kids, your students of the game?
If I have any questions for them?
Yeah, where you want to
A shout out to your 10.
Hey,
You wanna say something to them, a little
yeah.
motivation
Well, I
to
definitely
your
want
team?
to. I definitely want to shout out my 10U Raiders. Hey, man, you know it's been a steady. You know, we have a saying, just climbing that ladder. You know, when I first came over, you know, to the Raiders, you know, I could just say, you know, I knew it was gonna be a hill to climb, but I've had some kids from the Raiders organization that have been with the Raiders since flag, that have stuck with us and have wanted to build with us, and I can say right now that 10U Raiders, man, we're definitely going to be something to watch out for this year, because not only have we built the kid that we have coached, but our style, our swag, the way we play and the way we coach football, it's hard, but a lot of these kids need that, and a lot of these kids come not knowing they need that, and they end up loving it. And so I can say right now, we don't have a huge turnover. We don't got a lot of kids leaving, but we have a lot of kids trying to come play for us.
And they grow with each other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a big thing,
so,
I think.
How is the environment at the Raiders? I mean, I'm there.
Of course you want to hear.
I just want to let you know. Like,
hey, I honestly say
It's
this.
growing, man.
I honestly say this is, this isn't any knock on, the previous organization I was with or anything, but, when I came over to the Raiders, I won't say it's perfect there, and I'll be honest, and I'll say there's a lot of stuff that can continue to keep happening for this organization to be great. But I could say that coming over to the Raiders, I felt a lot of love that I hadn't felt before as a coach that never really, I didn't have too much experience. I played football my whole life, but I kind of got thrusted into the coaching scene because my son's team needed a team. So I really was done with football. And I could just say when I came over to the Raiders, especially the help of Coach Jay, I grew up playing with him as a kid. But a lot of the coaches were a lot more receptive to helping out a newer coach at the Raiders. The family aspect of stuff, it rang a little more true here than what I knew before. But with growing with the organization and with my brand and stuff, I can honestly say that it's motivated me to not just want to be a coach. It's not just motivated me to want to make money off of athletics. It's actually pushed me to the point to where I've had these conversations with Jeremy that hey, one day I'd like to see if I could have my hand at being a vice president or being on the e-board. And I for the last 2 years I've been very vocal about wanting to help the Raiders. Everything from saving money to making money to having the best uniforms. Like I said, my uniforms are a test to me wanting to create good stuff for my son. And speaking back to what you guys, some of the questions you asked Coach is how do you build that environment of football in Tucson? I think for at least for me and what I can do with my side of things is I can contribute great uniforms. I can contribute great uniforms, great stuff at a discounted rate. Like I said, man, for me, I'm a designer, I'm a football coach, and I'm an ex-football player. So I think I have the vision of what I want for my brand because I've actually been in the game. I've actually coached the game. I understand what kids like. I understand what coaches like,
That's
and
crazy
so,
you say that because that's where I came from, right?
Yeah.
I put my son in football with Abel, and that's how I became a coach.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I played football my whole life with the Redskins.
Yeah.
He was forced to coach.
Because when I put Abel in there and I was like, oh, I'm working out with the boys, and you're like, hey, you want to be a coach? I'm like, yeah. All right, let's go. And I started doing all the classes and stuff, and that's where the coaches come from. It's like when you were used to playing football. You didn't make it to college or the professional football, but there's something here for you in your community.
Yeah.
Go volunteer. Go help out with your youth sports because that's going to be major.
And I'll say this: youth football is definitely, youth football gave me a purpose,
Yeah.
because, there's some things that you deal with as a youth football coach that, when I started coaching, I thought I was just going to get to show up and teach kids how to play football.
Yeah,
and
that don't work like that.
it doesn't. No one ever tells you that, you truly become, a surrogate father to 25 to 30 kids. Everything from dealing with issues from kids' dads going to prison to kids' dads going to hospitals and stuff.
Things happen.
No one tells you that. What, that kid or that kid's other parent's gonna text you at 1:00 in the morning saying, "Yo, such and such needs this help," or you don't plan for that. And I think, like I said, I found purpose in coaching because I got kids that truly depend on me. And like, I'll speak to this. Like, when I first met Angel and Jeremy, you guys asked me, is this something you're gonna do till these kids are 13 years old, or are you only doing this for your son? And that stuff hit me hard because I definitely was doing it at for the love of football, but also because I wanted my son to play. And when you challenged me and said, "Are you gonna bail on this team when his mom decides she doesn't want him to play football?" and I made a commitment that day. I said, "You know what, man? I'm gonna ride it out with these boys that I don't even know yet. I'm gonna ride it out till they're 13 years old." And to this day, it still hits me, and it's like, man, like, I love that commitment that I made because it gave me purpose in life.
I won't.
It gave me purpose, man.
I'm stuck
Yeah.
till the end with the
Once
Raiders.
you're family here. And then that's the thing. It is. It's
And my kid may not
what's the
play
motto
anymore.
goes? Once a Badger, always a Badger.
Badger, always a
That's
Badger.
it. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah, so-
You're family. You're family, and that's it. Family has problems sometimes, but you know what? It still doesn't stop you
Yeah.
from being family. You come back together, and we regroup, and we fix that. We fix that
Truth
stuff.
right
So.
there.
So, and I'm glad what you said earlier because I always want to say what Coach Ron told me when I told him, "Hey, Coach, I want to be president." He said, "Well, damn it, I was waiting for you to say that so you can be vice president. I was waiting for you to say that."
Hey, honestly, like, the way that I see me using underestimated to the best of my ability is, I've made money. I've made a lot of money with TUC. I'm making money with underestimated. But the conversation I was having with Coach earlier, and I've had this conversation with Coach Bo and Coach Posey over at Sunnyside, is how can I do the most to really have an impact on the south side of Tucson, or just Tucson in general. And I'm going to make money off of this. I got teams in other cities already wanting to work with me. And the greatest impact I think I can do for the south side and I can do for Tucson is utilize the skills that I have available for myself to not just give the affordable prices, but to give that extra effort that the kids are going to wear this and feel special. A lot of these kids in our youth organization aren't going to play high school. A lot of the kids in high school aren't going to play college, not even at the junior college level. But even a lot of those junior college and D1 schools, they don't get to wear the cool uniforms. They don't get to have a lot of the cool swag. So, that's where, like I said, a huge part of where I can see I can help the Tucson scene and create and contribute to it is to be able to give these kids something to be proud of. Yeah. And that's wearing that uniform for that team, being able to wear that cool mouthpiece, socks, whatever it is, whatever I can do. And like I said, man, and I've already done it with the Raiders. I've done it with the Redskins, and it's discount prices because it takes money out of my pocket. But at the end of the day, it's cool to see someone wear the best uniform in Tucson.
You know what? I'm seeing a lot of stuff happening here in the South Tucson that's just going. Like, you're coming out with your company. Me, I did my photography, and it's turning into this show right here. Yeah. Bobby come from the south side, and he's got his training going on. Like,
Villatoros,
helping out the community.
And you know what I mean? Like, sports, like, I don't know. There's people are just having their own business, being entrepreneurs and stuff like that, and it's awesome to see, man. I'm just like,
what I like is
amazing.
you got the small businesses reaching out to the community, wanting to help the community. As compared to like bigger businesses and so you don't see that. You're always coming out with some kind of excuse, and we donate to this and this, and we don't do that when we donate to big corporation things. It's like these guys coming out tells a lot of the community. So if you guys are looking like for landscapers, great landscaping, make your house look sweet with pavers, with everything. I mean, just imagine what they do. How about a local community, a local business? Go with a local business, you know, and help the community all together. The whole South. The whole South, that's, you know.
Gotta feed our kids. You
Yeah.
know?
Get them going and support them. Because there's no excuse. You can never say, hey, we can't do it because we don't got money. It's not about money. It's about being there. It's about being there, helping out everybody putting their 2 cents in, pitching in. Because everybody put a penny in, pretty soon you're going to have $1.
Yeah.
And it's going to go on from there, you know. And you know what? Money comes and goes. But the respect that you get from those kids and what you show these kids of you helping out the community, you know what? When we're long and gone, they're gonna return that.
That's something my mom always told me, like growing up as a man, and that's part of being young kids listening now. When you get old, what are they gonna say about you? What have you done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your accomplishments. What have you laid down? You know, your foundation. What have you built for yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about money. It's not about none of that.
I learned a lot from my grandfather. You give. He said, if you don't have it, you still give.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what you're gonna get back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Get laid.
Everything will be fine. And you know, I haven't heard nothing. I didn't get to know your father that much, but from what I hear from my aunt Weta, she is like speaks very highly, and you know, I respect your father to the fullest.
I appreciate it.
You know,
Yeah,
God rest his soul.
we miss him,
You
but
know?
yeah, he definitely led the path for me. So
Yeah.
he's trying to continue his work that he did at Troy for close to 30 years.
Heck yeah,
That's great.
he is proud of you. Like I said, the
Appreciate
whole
it.
community, the whole Tucson High School is definitely proud of you, Coach. You keep plugging away,
We're trying, man.
kicking butt out there.
We're trying, man.
Vasquez Beamless, better get your butts over here. We're gonna get these wings going. Remember, see your guy right here at Villatoros Landscaping. Get your yard right, get your business right. Have him get out there and go clean it up. You got Izzy right there. Thank you guys for coming in, and another great show today.
Yes, sir.
Another great show. That's another one.
Thank you guys
That's
for
number
having
three.
me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you guys for everything you guys do for the community, man. And we're gonna have you guys soon on pretty soon.
Yeah.
And we'll get that going. Also, shout outs to the 13U Raiders going out to Phoenix, play the Red Zone 7-on-7 with the Wolf Pack. We got some kids from our 12U. You got Jay Horn, you got Chanes, and Diego Mesa out there playing with Tucson Turf. Good luck to Tucson Turf, 12U out there. And also our 9U kids who are going, and JJ, Conley's son, is also out there playing in the high school level. Good luck to you guys out there. And also one last shout out to my brother out in San Antonio. He came down last week to see the show. Shout out to you guys out there. I know you got a cold one in your hand. It's probably a whiskey he got right now, knowing him. And my nephew, which is he just signed a D1 with a full ride to Incarnate Word University in San Antonio. 6'6", 190-pound shooting guard.
Nice.
So
That's
he'll be
good.
playing basketball out there.
Congratulations
But,
to
yeah.
And
something
last
like
but
that.
not least, I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody out there,
Yeah.
and enjoy your weekend with family and your kids.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Rolling.
Rolling.
Good seeing you, buddy. Good seeing you today.
All right.
Over there. Shout out to the Broncos. There you go.
Let's go. Thank you guys.
There you go. Thank you.
Peace.
Happy Father's
Now I'm
Day.
just riding through the city. Now I'm just riding through the city. And ain't nobody rolling with me. And ain't nobody rolling with me. It ain't a problem gon' get me.
Appreciate it, man.
It ain't a problem gon' get me.
Good seeing you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. You too, man. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, when we start doing this sport, we'll definitely have to see about getting fucking Abraham on the show on the too. So, Abraham on
Yeah, we're going